But I'm curious, when did this start to like evolve into like when you first started doing knee down, was it like strictly nobody on base and then it evolved, or how did that evolve in terms of the runners on?
Yeah, it did. It was strictly less than 2 strikes and nobody on base at the beginning. Um, and then I started to realize how much better it was when I did it. So then I started thinking about, okay, how can I actually maybe still be sometimes successful throwing guys out and blocking when the situation calls for it with runners on base or even with 2 strikes. So again, like pitch types and those kind of things come into play too. Like I'm not worried about blocking a backdoor two seam. That's his fault. That's not my fault.
Totally.
But 0-2, 12-6 hammer, like that's on me to block that in front of me. So that's how it started to evolve there. And honestly, what really solidified it for me, um, when Sal Fasano came to Atlanta. So even my first year in Atlanta in 2016, I was still kind of a tweener. I would do it, I'd say still over half the time. But I started morphing it, like start out traditional and then kind of reading it and like drop as you're catching it, which isn't the best way to do it either, but it still worked for me back then. But Sal, when he came in 2017, like he's like, just do it every time. Like, why not? Like, let's just figure it. I'm like, all right, I like that. Let's do it. All right. So obviously, we spent a lot of time and effort. And Sal is one of the only guys, in my opinion, from my experience. Obviously, I don't know every catching guy out there, and there could be others. He's the only one that competes with me as far as the time and effort and thought and feel of each and every setup and how we can maximize it to be able to do everything as well as we individually can. He's the only one I've met that comes close to the time I spend laying in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about a little more pressure on the inside of my right big toe. I think that'll help me slide a little bit further to my left. He's the only one that's close, but he helped me commit to it full time. And I think that really changed everything. I became a better blocker. Um, one of the other things people miss, pick is a block. It counts the same. They don't care how you do it, just get it done. My numbers rose out the roof. I was never a great thrower. That pretty much stayed the same. So who cares? If I could become better at blocking and better at receiving, stealing strikes, I don't have to throw as much. Nobody gives a crap.
100%. We have that conversation. We intro blocking with all of our guys. We have the same conversation. I say, "What's the goal to blocking?" And they all go, to not let it get by me, keep the ball in front." And I'm like, "Okay, why?" It's like, and I'm like, "Well, we don't want the runner to move up, right?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, so like we don't. That's the goal. We got to be results oriented. Like we just don't want that guy to move up, and we don't care what that looks like or how it gets done." And I think you know, the best part about the knee down, obviously the use of our glove, just having better, connection to the ground to pick or paddle with the glove. But I mean, like it's just insane the ability for them to see the ball longer. Like the decision making happens so much later. So talk about that, when the blocking kind of first came in, because you have all these setups kind of based on the pitch type in terms of like some leverage, against the pitch. But when you got into blocking, obviously we had to alter a little bit. And, what was the result in terms of how you were going to get to different positions?
Yeah, so it would change the setup a little bit for me with 2 strikes or a runner on base. Really, it was just trial and error. Find the position that I feel like I'm not going to lose anything receiving wise, specifically the low pitches, but I'm never going to get beat 5 hole and I can collapse one way or the other. And it's actually pretty neat how it came about. It's not a good story, but if we had like full visual here, like it's so easy to do.